Welcome back to the Unlimited Mindset, where we talk about leadership, business, entrepreneurship, personal growth, and mental health, and everything in between, what my guests are truly passionate about, and what I think will make a positive impact in this world and around us. And today I have an amazing guest in the studio, someone who is truly making an impact, not only in her professional arena, but also in her personal life. It's Shannon Jones, an incredible woman, a powerhouse lady. Shannon is known to ask bold questions that get people to pause and get people to follow her. With no further ado, let's dive into the conversation. Welcome to the show, Shannon.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
You're a dear friend. Been working together for almost up to 2 years. And you have done so many quantum jumps leading into that next level of you. And I'm always curious about my guest hidden story. Could you share an experience or aspect of your journey that has shaped who you are today?
Goodness, I feel like there's been so many moments that have really helped to shape me. But I think it was probably one of the biggest moments was when I was unemployed and you and I working together, of course. And I had been looking for a job and I just had this narrow focus of this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm trying to find. And of course, I was not being successful, wasn't even able to really land any sort of interviews. And we had such a deep conversation. You really challenged me. And you remember, yeah. And I think you said something along the lines of, I don't think that you're looking for the right job. And I thought, what do you mean? What do you mean I'm not looking for the right job? And you were like, may I coach you? Well, of course. And so you started asking me some really pointed questions, which had me thinking, it's like, let me just be really honest and let me not give the answers that I think I'm supposed to give, but let me give those answers. Let me really be honest about what I'm truly thinking and feeling. And I just got very honest with myself at that moment. And it completely shifted the type of role that I wanted to go after, the type of role that I wanted to land. And as soon as that shifted, everything shifted. And within, a week or two, I was interviewing and then going through the process, and then I got the job. So it was really good. I think that it was more of, I was doing what I thought I was supposed to do. And as we were talking and really digging, it was my moment to say, what does Shannon really want to do? And that was one of the biggest moments for me in the shift. There's so many others, but that was a really big one.
Wow. I do remember that conversation,
Yes.
but I guess you remembered even more in your body.
I do.
Right, and we went really deep. I love what you share, and I think there's a lot of listeners who's also looking for the next dream job. Just really stay curious about what Shannon shares today, because Shannon has pockets of gold on how to, right? You have how to take your career to the next level, not just landing your next dream job, but actually when you just landed your dream job, within months, you got promoted again. So just like really listen with open ears and eyes on what Shannon is sharing today. When did you come to your crossroad in that conversation? Hey, but there may be something that's much better for me.
Yeah. So, being in the line of work that I'm in the HR space and in the talent acquisition space. And so I know that, when people want to grow at their company, they don't always have to go up. They don't always have to get a promotion to be, a manager or director or vice president. It can be lateral as well, to gain those skill sets. And I think that I've really lived my life in such a way that, I'm the good girl, I'm the people pleaser, I'm going to do what's expected of me. And even having that basic foundational knowledge, there was still something inside of me that told me, you have to climb up, you have to continue going up. And, at the time, prior to this role, I was working in the DEI space. And very passionate around DEI, but you know, there was just something. I was going for these director roles. I was going for, trying to be the DEI person at some company. And the more we talked about it, the more I realized that that was going to take me so far removed from people. And the one thing that I'm so passionate about are people, of treating people with integrity, treating them with respect, having equality, and realizing that I could do my best work, with my sleeves rolled up, essentially, not up in the clouds, but really more down, down here, and working with people that way. And so I just had this kind of aha moment of, what am I doing? Why am I going for something that probably won't be very fulfilling? I'm doing it because I think I should do it. I'm doing it because I think I'm supposed to do it. It feels like that's the natural next step. But everything inside of me was really kind of screaming, "Oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this." Um, and I was also probably feeling a little bit burnt out, if you will, just my last experience with my last role. Um, DEI space is tough, and I really didn't feel like I was able to move that dial in big leaps and bounds. And I love to see results. I love to see when something really wonderful happens. So yeah, I think it just shifted from what I think I should do, what that natural next step should be, to wait, no, 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 no. That's not aligning with what I want to do and with who I really am. And I think it was just in that moment. But I think you had asked me a question, actually. You said, I don't remember exactly what the question was, but you asked me something, and I remember just stopping during our conversation. Do you remember that? I just
Yeah.
stopped, and I had to pause. And you were like, I'm holding the space. Like, you knew, you were like, okay, come on, what are you going to say? And then all of a sudden it was like, wait a minute. Yeah, I want to be more tactical. I want to execute. That's what it was. I want to execute on what I've created. And you just dug and dug and dug and dug and dug until that came out. And then it was like, oh, okay. Everything shifted. And it was exciting, and I got my energy back around looking for a job because I hated it. And so it was just a complete, yeah.
Hmm. I so now really recall that one question. I think that's a lot listening. Like really, want you to really, when you're listening to this, really ask yourself when you're looking for your next dream job. Are you, as Shannon is saying, and I've been there, right? Just a natural next step, right? Because we want to climb and we want to have more responsibility. But really, is that really where your soul wants to go? And I remember, my body's responding now. I remember that one question that you wanted to do strategy. And I think most of those women I serve in service with, we want to be strategic. We want to be great at that. But really, the stories and everything that you were sharing from your heart and your passion and being with people, it didn't, what do we say in English, right? Just going with the flow. It didn't sing or had any tune on strategy.
Right.
It didn't, it wasn't a match. Like
Yeah.
you were
Yeah.
not singing strategy. You were singing tactical, but high level tactical.
Hmm.
And I remember that question, and I think I really wanted to pause that. I don't want, but something about really getting you to reflect. Is it really strategy when something else that is in store for you?
Yeah.
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 So I'm super curious. What belief did you have to overcome maybe in that moment because you were very fast at taking action, and 6 weeks after that conversation, yeah, or maybe eight, but within 6 weeks, you have opened the right doors and amazing conversations were going on. But what was
Hmm.
that one belief, maybe about it being just a leveling up or elevating? What was that one belief that you had to overcome?
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, I've always really believed that things happen for a reason. I've always believed that. Um, but I think at the moment when we were really into that conversation, I'm having this big aha moment and just everything kind of rocked my whole world thinking, wait a minute. Um, I believed that that conversation was happening for a reason. And I believed that you were asking those questions and pulling out of me what my true desires were for a reason. And so I wanted just to go with that flow. I just wanted to really kind of explore that. And, there's one thing, where I can tend to like really hold on to something. It's like, no, 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 I'm a strategist. I'm going to hold on to that. That sounds really important. And it was a way to inflate my ego to have, these bigger titles. And I had to let go of the ego for a moment and say, what is really meant for me? And even though I don't know that I really kind of articulated that in my actual thoughts, but it was just this moment of just go with this, just trust this, just go with this. This could really open up other doors, see what happens. And, because what I was doing wasn't working. I was like, well, let's just see what happens and let's just be open and explore it. And I think that was the moment of just opening up and saying, okay, okay,
Mm.
let's do something different.
Yeah, that just letting go of the ego. Ego is just really
Yeah.
holding us back. But in that moment, so I love what showed up for you. Maybe more consciously now, but still
Yeah.
just trusting that process because there was something that felt, you really felt that next step being not in that direction, but in that direction, but still being advanced, experienced in what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So as I mentioned in the beginning, and I love you, and I'm super inspired by everything that you have achieved and who you have involved into and what's next for you. But take us back in time and share a radical moment in how you lead that has revolutionized how you achieve results today.
Oh, that's a good one. That's such a good one. Wow. I think I've really been armed with an amazing toolkit. So thank you. With our work, you have really taught me a lot about how to lead with integrity. And when we first met, I'm not sure if you remember this, but you said, what's your line in the sand? Like, what is that core value of yours? What is that line that you won't cross? And I said integrity. I remember that. It's in my notebook. I see it right here. It was integrity. And as we have, as you coached me, as we've had these deeper conversations, learning about these different tools to use, I'll never forget the first time you said, well, you're not acting with integrity. And I was like, or you said it in some way, but always with love. You're like, with love, but I'm about to zing you. And I love it when you say, whenever you say, I say this with love, I'm like, oh boy, here it comes. Here it comes. But I love those moments because even though I sit and go, oh, wow, that was big. I know it's going to be a turning point for me. Like, I just know it's going to be. And my body's now responding. But when I thought about what does integrity mean to me, really showing up and being truly honest and authentic. And I am or have been a chronic sufferer of people pleasing syndrome, not feeling good enough, not showing up as my true self, not saying the hard things because I'm a conflict avoider and all the things that where I was at the time. And realizing that, yeah, I wasn't showing up with integrity. I was not showing up the way I had hoped other people would show up for me. And and I think it definitely has taken work. It's not like this snap and it's all solved the next day. But a lot of digging, a lot of conversations, a lot of talking and reflection on, okay, what is holding me back from being truly authentic, from showing up with that kind of integrity. And so I started just to kind of tap my toe into the water of, okay, all right, let's try some of these tools to kind of help me get through that. And I remember just the power of asking really good questions. And I believe it was with my direct manager. And I was, you know, old me, I think, would have become really quite frustrated with what was happening. And with our conversations, you helped me to be curious and to wonder what's really going on. And I love that line now because anytime I'm talking with someone, I'm like, what's really going on? Um, but I started to ask really good and direct questions, which sparked a conversation. And learning that the first answer is never the answer. So keep digging, don't take things at face value. And that really shifted my interactions with everybody on my team. And when I walked in the door at this new job, I walked in as that person. I walked in being curious because we had done that work. And it's been really exciting to see the results of that, to see that I'm able to really connect with people on a deeper level. But yeah, it was that moment of really challenging my brand new boss. Just got a job. I was unemployed for 8 months, and I'm walking in the room going, tell me more. I'm really curious. I wonder. Um, and so that was just seeing that immediately, seeing the positive consequences of pushing back and not being that yes person. Um, just sparked this, oh, okay, Camilla knows what she's doing. She knows what she's teaching. All right, let's stick with this. Let's keep learning.
Thanks
Yeah.
so much. And how has those new ways of being you helped you revolutionize or take your results, your achievements to the next level?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I have to talk a little bit about the growth in my own self-confidence and, you know, the feelings of being unworthy or not good enough, the insecurity, imposter syndrome, all the things that everybody struggles with at one point in time or not. And it's kind of stripping away titles of other people because I can tend to say, oh, you're the SVP of something. Oh, now I'm immediately intimidated. And so I want to talk about that piece because that is so much of the work of realizing that I am good enough, realizing that I have something to share, realizing that I'm here to serve, and that I've been hired because this SVP doesn't know everything. And that's why individuals are hired to bring in that expertise. And so for me, when I got that understanding that I'm actually here to serve, I'm not in this position for me. It's not me. It's not my ego. It's I'm here to serve. That really changed everything. It's like, okay, I really relate to that. I'm here to help others achieve a better result. And, we all really want to think about being at work. When you form this family, you form this relationship, but the truth is that companies will lay you off, they'll downsize, they'll right size, they'll move things around. And, we're paid resources. We've been bought and we're exchanging our time for money, essentially exchanging our expertise and our time for the money that they give us. And that doesn't change how I feel about people. It doesn't change the relationships and how I want to go deep and really grow and show up and be, and have that integrity. But it really came down to what is my bigger purpose here? It's not for my glory. It's not to make me look good. It's not to make, here comes Shannon. She's going to be the rock star. It wasn't about that at all. And when that happened, it took away those insecurities. It took away all those thoughts and all those doubts. And it's like, no, I have a gift. I have something to share here. And that just, what would you just say, revolutionized? It revolutionized the way I now interact with my teams.
So what do you do differently today? I love what you share. It's really deep. What do you do differently, or how did you show up previously in the past?
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
how do you show up today? Because I know there's a difference, but I don't think we ever really talked about those two
Yeah.
worlds. So light
Yeah.
us up with that insight.
Yeah. So I think in the past I would have, shown up, sat down at the table, listened carefully, maybe in my mind would have disagreed or had a different thought, too shy to raise my hand. Oh, I don't know if I should say something. Oh, someone said it. Oh, over there, that's great. Oh, but I'm not 100% aligned. I have a little bit of a different idea. I'll just stay quiet. We're on the right track. It's fine. And I would really play small and I would hold back. And, especially if there was like a really big personality in the room, it would be like, oh, okay, who am I? I'm not going to say a word. And now I know that I have things that are important to share. I'm not here wasting time. I'm here because there are things that I do need to share. And, when you think about it from a risk management standpoint, companies have gotten into some big hot water because people just agreed and nobody really pushed back. And so I've really learned the difference between being that nice girl of my entire past of always wanting to show up being the nice person to now I can show up being truthful and respectful and still getting, and being able to be authentic and have integrity and to be able to really share my gifts 100%. And so I think that was a huge difference there of, shifting from me, my ego, all about me and being the nice person and wanting to be liked and winning popularity contest in some way, shape, or form to now being somebody who is respected, who is respectful, but will absolutely say what's on my mind according to my skills because I want to serve. And it's always because I want to serve.
This is so deep, and how can I want to open the loop with the conversation I had this Saturday with this group of about 50 women or so. I introduced them to the concept. Are you a giver and going
Mhm.
to work and exchange your time with a salary? Are you actually going to work because you have something people need you people need to hear, and you're going to work as a giver, as serving them so deeply? And at first I didn't understand it because they said, I think women give so much. And it's like, we're not talking about being a people pleaser. That's not what
Yeah.
this is all about. And I think that's, you really beautifully um, shared that story where I think a lot of people can relate to, like playing small, being the yes woman or the yes man, right? And we're doing it, but it's not fulfilling. It may be overwhelmed, stressed out, burdened, because we know deep inside we have more to unleash, more to give. But then there's some people in the room with higher titles, and we give that way too much power, the
Yeah.
titles. And you shift to that, and you so through or beyond the titles. And so you elevated, and you're still elevating, you elevate each and every day. But it was so profound, the person you were in the past, how you led, and how you show up with, I think, maybe Brian said, that foundational belief that you're in this room to serve. And has shifted everything, how you ask questions. And then you get respect, and you do it with integrity, rather than if we ask bold questions when we are not on integrity, not in that room to serve, it would be a different energy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really true.
How is that feeling right now? This is the weird. Well, maybe we have some questions. So, but now, how is that reflection feeling, and what's showing up?
Yeah, that really lands. It really does when you talked about energy, because I feel like in the past when I would show up in these work situations, my energy would be quite low. I would immediately walk in feeling the lack of skills or experience or professionalism or whatever it might be. I would walk in those rooms already feeling lack. And now, and it's not every day. Sometimes I have to, really kind of work on getting my energy up. But for the most part, I'm walking into rooms and I'm coming from abundance of really having that deep belief that I do have something to share. I do have something to say. And there are times when I will be quiet and I will just listen and absorb. And I love to watch people. I love to listen to their tone of voice and their body language. And I'm really paying attention now to how people interact. And I'm starting to pick up cues of, oh, I don't know if that person really believes in what he or she just said. And but it's not in a judgmental way. It's more in a way of, hey, I can really understand that. And so, yeah, it's the energy. It's the energy. It's the body language. It's the word choice that we use. That's another thing that I've really learned a lot about the choice of words. So yeah, that really does resonate with me as far as that energy level and, the difference in showing up versus just being there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just being there, I think most people can relate to, unless you have become really conscious and aware while you're in the room and truly believe that you belong in that room and you have a seat, and the reason for you having that seat is because, right? Otherwise,
Yeah.
I've certainly come from just here to actually owning my seat, and I know why I'm in this room. And I sense that you've done that transformation as well. You can now connect the dots and you can see how you traveled.
Yeah.
And I just want to honor you on when you said that you pick up the cues and say, like, when people start to doubt themselves, and something that you say often when we work together, and I'm going to drop it in a video shortly, but that is about that of emotions are contagious.
Yes.
Energy travels. So even though we're not aware, like, people will pick it up. They cannot name it yet because they haven't got the tools. But that's why we want to be so aware as leaders. Where are we leaking energy? Where are we not
Leaking energy.
believing in ourselves? Yeah, maybe we're going to talk about that. But
Yeah.
still, the more aware you are, then it tells you as a green flag that you're on the next level. So that is the EQ, right? That's
Yeah.
so powerful to understand. Also, as a leader, when do we not believe in ourselves? Because people will pick it up in one way or the other. And then we do not show up as powerfully, as trustworthy as we really wanted to, because deep within we don't believe in ourselves. Just want to.
That is so true. That is so true. And I do say it all the time that emotions are contagious. I feel like I am a very empathetic person. And my tendency is to absorb, the moods and the emotions of other people. If I walk in a room and I'm in a great mood and somebody's really down, my heart goes out to them and, oh, what's going on? And then the next thing I know, I'm feeling down. And yeah, I do think about that, because this morning before we even really started doing the podcast, you asked me, how are you? And I said, I'm a little tired today. And you're like, well, what's going on? And then I just was like, well, work, work. But really, what it comes down to is that, leaking a little bit of energy, going through a really big project and leaking a little bit of energy and realizing that I cannot inspire and encourage and drive results with my team unless I stop leaking that energy, unless I show up and being really solid and wanting people to be attracted to my energy so that they can absorb, the positivity that's happening. And it doesn't mean that everything is always perfect and that, we're faking being happy, but it's more of, hey, I'm here to serve and we're going to do this. We're going to put this out there. This is going to work. And so I think really shifting and believing those thoughts, believing in the greater good, believing that the best result will happen, whether mistakes are made or not, the best result will be there. And that does change everything, at least in my mind, it does.
What has been one habit or belief that has previously held you back, but you have or you are releasing, and it gives you more time, freedom, more peace of mind? What's any of these beliefs that you want to share?
Oh, so many. I love these discussions of thinking about what has been a core belief of mine that I've actually inherited. It may not necessarily be true. And I think about my core beliefs around or used to around money. So money is, always kind of a big thing where money doesn't grow on trees and we can't afford that. And um, who do you think we are, the Rockefellers? Just hearing different things like that as I was growing up. And so I really grew up with this kind of scarcity mindset of, oh, this is just who we are. This is what my family does. We have enough to pay our bills, but that's it. And so, yeah, just growing up, I never really negotiated or had deeper conversations around my worth, my value. When I was going into a job, I would just accept the offer that I was given, which I think most women do that. Most women will just go, okay, that's what you're offering. Okay. And there have been studies where men don't necessarily do that. But anyway, kind of getting back to me and my core beliefs, it was be nice, don't rock the boat. You need to be a peacemaker, don't cause trouble, be seen and not heard. Like a lot of those types of things that were said to me as a child that I grew up really believing. And it really has impacted the way that um, I've accepted, I've just accepted things and not really challenged it. And so when I think about, um, when coming into this job, it was, well, let's
For leaders who are listening and stuck in the hamster wheel, like now about difference between training hours for money, like really pushing to achieve more success, with allowing themselves to be authentic, effortless, really enjoy more of life. What would be a hard-hitting advice to break free and truly lead?
Mm. Whew, that's a good question. Could answer that in so many different ways. Gosh, I think really at the core is to do the work, to believe in yourself, to love yourself. Takes a lot of work for us to love ourselves. For me, that's such kind of the root of it all. Because when you love yourself, you take care of yourself and you don't accept anything less than what you deserve. And you protect your time. You balance out how you work when you work so that you can be free to do other things. But it comes down to self-love. And I notice that when I'm not feeling so great about myself, I tend to work because I want to shut out. I want to shut that out, that I don't necessarily really love myself at this moment, or I'm not feeling worthy. I'm having to prove myself. So I think that's kind of the core for me. Maybe not a very conventional answer, but for me, do the work, do the inner work.
I mean, I think those who are listening, I was like, you got me in my heart, that of self-love. It's in order to break free. And what I got from what you shared was that of really loving yourself so much that it's all about you, even though we go to work and we train in our expertise and we get some money back, as well as setting healthy boundaries for yourself. That's what I hear, right? And you can only do that when you love yourself.
Yeah.
And based on your experience, because you've been on your amazing personal journey for a while now, setting better and better healthy boundaries for yourself, knowing what you tolerate and what you do not actually want to tolerate anymore. How do you lead differently now?
Hmm. I lead with courage now. Yeah. I think that would be the word. That's what came to my head is, I lead with courage. I don't play small. I don't shrink back. I I have a big heart and I send love out, um, wanting the best result, but also trusting that I'm going to get the best out of everybody. And when I put my hope and my trust, not even hope, but when I put my faith in other people, that um, I'll get the best of them. It makes leading very easy. But it goes back to integrity and having integrity, showing up, being authentically me, saying the hard things with love, poking and challenging to get the absolute best result.
Oh, Steve.
Yeah. Yeah. And so different than who I was just a few years ago.
Because how did
So
you
very
show up
different.
then?
Yeah, I showed up wanting to be popular and nice and liked, and um it gave away power. We'd kind of put the onus on somebody else. Well, what do you think? What do you think we should do? Instead of leading with my heart. Yeah.
It took me years to really understand leading with heart,
Yeah.
because wasn't trained to lead that way. I didn't have any role models who led with heart.
Not many of us do. Not many of us do. That's true.
And understanding that you can love everyone because you just love your partner. but actually love everybody so much, everyone so much that you want to help them grow. That's what you share, right?
Yeah.
That's a feeling to go and sit with. And it comes with courage. It can only lead with courage. And what you also want to lead with, like sending out love, and I love you so much, that's courage.
Yeah.
And trust that you can actually help and achieve better results. And I really trust that that's the best way to lead, is to lead with courage and lead with love. Mm.
Yeah.
How can I help you right now?
Oh, goodness. So I've been leaking a little bit of energy lately, just a bit. But I think in this conversation, I've already had a few aha moments of, okay, let's get back down to loving myself, taking good care of myself, and trusting my team, and realizing that I don't have to do it all, that I can trust that the work will get done, and I don't have to sit here for 12 hours a day to make sure that that happens. Yeah.
May I share a download? Maybe have a
Oh,
conversation
yes.
or
Oh, yes, please.
have a coaching, whatever, where it takes us to. But that when we leak energy, when you leak energy, is like comes down often. Here's what I see as a fan, is that it comes down to two things, like maybe not trusting ourselves, but maybe not trusting other people. So we're doing way more than we actually should be doing. We're not intentional with our time. We just do and do and do. And that when what the consequence is that we don't delegate, or we take back projects that actually we could delegate to protect our time. But when we do not when we don't delegate, we do not love ourselves so much, because we're actually watering ourselves out. And when we get to that point, we are more pushing than we are in flow. And when we push, I can even feel it in my head. It's like we start to get headache, and we are so in all the default patterns and behavioral patterns of just doing, because we have a lot of role models out there just delivering. But really, when we come more in flow, then we start to protect ourselves, we start to love ourselves, and we start to trust and delegate and really focus on what's really important, most important.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, I mean, it's never going to be perfect. It's, oh, I'm a work in progress always. And that's, love the journey. It's not about the destination so much, but love the journey. And just realizing that if I start to slip a little bit, if I start to try to, control and kind of take things back because I don't like the way the direction's going, it's a great reminder to stop. Oh, and my dog agrees, but pause. It's like, just pause and figure out what's really going on. And this morning's been great because it has really forced me to pause and say, okay, I get it now. All right, we're not too far off the rails here. I'm starting to do that little creepy where I'm pulling things back in and trying to own things. Nope. Everybody has their responsibilities. Everybody knows what they're supposed to do. I'm supposed to be directing and project managing. So take a breath, have faith. It's going to get done. And that actually feels a lot better. Just taking that breath and realizing that, okay, I don't have to control every little nugget of every little thing that's happening.
Mm.
Yeah.
So where are you giving away power to fear?
Giving my power to fear. I always love it when you say things like that. It's like, ooh.
It was just a download. There was no
It's like,
wording here. Sorry.
yeah, I think honestly, the last week or so, fear that this project that I'm working on will not get done in time, that we're going to miss our deadline. And there were some pretty hefty consequences if we miss the deadline. So, there's that pressure and I've allowed that to impact my energy levels and to impact um, how I'm showing up. And so now I have the opportunity to lift and shift and say, okay, I don't have to fear it. What is a better story I can tell myself about this? And I always love that too, the way we talk about what is a better feeling story. It doesn't have to be pressure. It doesn't have to be stress. I have a fantastic opportunity to get this project done and to get it done on time. And this is a stretch assignment for many of the people on my team. And what a great opportunity for learning. What a great opportunity for me to really learn through this whole entire journey. We're going to get this done and it's going to be fantastic. And it just that feels so different than if we don't make our deadline. And even being able to say, what's my contingency plan? Being able to work that piece in. We've talked about that as well. And I did take your advice and did push something out another week just to give myself a moment to breathe and say, okay, worst thing that will happen, nothing. It's not the worst thing that can happen. Everything, it'll be better if I just give myself a few more days to get prepared for something that I need to deliver. So, yeah.
What is your number one piece of advice, Shannon, for women leaders who want to take their careers to the next level?
Mm. Well, I would say get a coach. Camilla's available.
But why? Not this is not, but why? Why would you
Yeah,
say that? Because a
why?
lot of people don't work with
Yeah,
successful coaches. Why is that? Why is that?
it's really hard to see yourself for who you are. You need help. Everybody needs help to see themselves in a crystal clear way. And having someone to work with, it's not a scary thing at all. Walking into the scenario of not wanting to show off and be so fantastic that your coach is like, oh, you don't need help. That's not the point. Walking in and being really humble and vulnerable and open to wanting to level up, to see yourself in a different way, to really poke and prod and think, who am I now? And who do I really want to be? And that work is very difficult, almost impossible to do alone. Really need to have a partner, somebody who's going to be on that journey with you to help guide. And I know that you get help yourself. And so it's like we're people, we all need help. And so I would say rip down those walls, loosen up, let go of that guarded self and be open and vulnerable. And once you're open and vulnerable, you never know. You never know what can happen.
And you move your needle like on a
Exactly.
weekly basis, like
Yeah,
fast track your success.
absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I love that advice. I also work with people, and I'm putting in a newsletter that rich people get financial advice from people who are as rich or richer.
Yeah.
Poor
Yeah.
people get financial advice from people who are poor or poorer. And the same comes
Yeah.
with leadership
Yeah.
and life. And that's why I'm not done. And I say, I'm not perfect. I don't think we can ever be perfect because then we can't grow. But that of investing it is you're investing in yourself so that you can live a better life and live full out.
Yeah. Exactly.
I love that advice.
Yeah.
So Shannon, with this, thanks for joining the Unlimited Mindset show once again, actually.
Thank you.
It was amazing to hear your journey. It was amazing to hear where you got stuck. Um, having to let go or wanting to let go of ego in the point of realization is that what job am I actually, what job do I really want?
Yeah.
And I'm just following it because I've just been doing that for years,
Yeah.
to actually leading with courage.
Well, in the beginning of the podcast, I talked about how I really believe that everything happens for a reason. And, the direction that I was going in, now all of those jobs, well, I should say most of them no longer exist. And when I think about how I was protected from that, had I continued to go down that route, I would be unemployed again. Pretty sure I would be. And so I think that there's really something to trusting the process of being really open and accepting that, preconceived notions aren't necessarily what's right. And so things happen for a reason. And I'm here with you. We've developed a friendship, a professional relationship, but a friendship as well. And yeah, I couldn't be happier. I love my work. I love what I do. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But I'm growing, I'm thriving, and I know there's a lot more growth that can happen. And I'm really excited to see who I am in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now. So yeah, I'm grateful. So thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. If you're a woman looking to break through to her next level in leadership and life, check out our free playbook. It's filled with easy to apply strategies and tools to help you command the room, own your worth, and lead with unstoppable confidence. Also, head over to our website, Calberg Coaching, at www.calbergcoaching.com for all sorts of goodies and trainings to help you step into a greater version of yourself, to step into a greater level of meaningful work, and truly transform into the person you know you were meant to be. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I want to encourage you to go listen to one of our other Unlimited Mindset episodes now for continued inspiration. See you on the next episode. Bye for now.